Hello everyone and welcome to Walking Through the Bible. If you recall back to the beginning of our study of Nehemiah, that Nehemiah wasn't given a permanent job as governor of Judea. He was given the task of rebuilding the wall of Jerusalem, a task that was now complete. Nehemiah didn't immediately return back to Persia to resume his duties as the king's cupbearer, but he stayed in Jerusalem and Judea for a total of 12 years. This would have allowed him to ensure that the Jewish nation was functioning properly and that the enemies of Judea ceased harassing the nation once the wall had been finished. However, the book of Nehemiah is not done. There is one chapter to go, a chapter that is necessary in order for the book to lay out some of Nehemiah's reforms once he returned to Judea again. So if you have a Bible with you, you can now turn to the book of Nehemiah, to chapter 13. We're going to be reading from verses 1 to 9. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry, just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, Nehemiah chapter 13, beginning at verse 1. On that day, they read from the book of Moses in the hearing of the people, and it was found written that no Ammonite or Moabite should ever come into the assembly of God, because they had not met the children of Israel with bread and water, but hired Balaam against them to curse them. However, our God turned the curse into a blessing. So it was, when they had heard the law, that they separated all the mixed multitude from Israel. Now before this, Eliashib the priest, having authority over the storerooms of the house of our God, was allied with Tobiah, and he had prepared for him a large room, where previously they had stored the grain offerings, the frankincense, the articles, the tithes of grain, the new wine and oil, which were commanded to be given to the Levites and singers and gatekeepers, and the offerings for the priests. But during all this I was not in Jerusalem, for in the 32nd year of Artaxerxes, king of Babylon, I returned to the king. Then after certain days I obtained leave from the king, and I came to Jerusalem, and discovered the evil that Eliashib had done for Tobiah in preparing a room for him in the courts of the house of God. And it grieved me bitterly. Therefore I threw all the household goods of Tobiah out of the room. Then I commanded them to cleanse the rooms, and I brought back into them the articles of the house of God, with the grain offering and the frankincense. As we said at the top, the wall of Jerusalem is now finished and dedicated. Nehemiah's mandate by Artaxerxes, king of Persia, is now complete. Now you might think it was time for Nehemiah to return, but he didn't. He remained in Judea for 12 years. It is during this time that Nehemiah obviously governed well over Judea. For not only were there no wars between the neighboring nations, think of Samaria led by Sanballat, but Nehemiah must have been comfortable enough in Judea's progress not to immediately seek an extension of his governorship. What gave Nehemiah this confidence? Well, they continued to read the law and follow its precepts. Back in Deuteronomy 23, verses 4 to 6, God told Israel not to accept the children of Moab or Ammon into their congregation even to the 10th generation, likely meaning never, and that Israel had not obeyed this command throughout their history. They began to obey this command here in the days of Nehemiah. Now we should say here, just as we did back when we studied Deuteronomy, that this didn't mean that the Moabites and Ammonites couldn't become proselytes, converts to Judaism. It just meant that they couldn't keep their heritage and worship their foreign gods and be married to Israelites. God was not being racist here. It was for a purpose, and that purpose was that the children of Moab and Ammon did not help when Israel was wandering in the wilderness to provide for them. In fact, they hired Balaam to curse Israel so that they could be destroyed. Thus, this was punishment from God for sin, not a result of xenophobia. The day came, though, for Nehemiah to return to Persia and resume his duties as cupbearer for the king. Verse 6 says that this happened in the 32nd year of Artaxerxes, king of Babylon, with Babylon being one of the major cities of the Persian Empire. How long Nehemiah was gone, we're not told, but it must have been a large enough amount of time for all the sins that Nehemiah would later reform in this chapter to have occurred. Some assert that Nehemiah was gone for a year, but not only does the text not say that, but that really doesn't seem long enough for all this sin to occur. It is useless to speculate, but it's fairly easy to say that more than a year is required. One of the things that changed once Nehemiah left is that Eliashib the high priest began showing comfort to the enemy, Tobiah. Now our text says that he was allied with Tobiah, but what the word literally means is a relation with Tobiah, either by blood or marriage. And since Tobiah is an Ammonite, this must have been by marriage. What did Eliashib do for Tobiah? He gave him a room in the temple storerooms to live in, one of the places that had previously been used to store grain offerings, frankincense, articles for the temple, tithes of grain, and new wine and oil. It's not that there weren't other rooms for those things with Tobiah here, but giving up a large room made for this would certainly cut down on how much could be stored. Now, giving up the room would be bad, but to whom it was given was doubly bad, an Ammonite. The temple grounds would normally be used to house priests and Levites. During the reign of Athaliah, Joash was housed here, but that was in extraordinary times, and Joash was an Israelite. Ammonites were not to be taken into the congregation of Israel, and yet the high priest gave him a room in the temple, taking away from the provisions of the priests and Levites to do so. Such was blasphemous to the name of God and to the temple of God, for it defiled it. These deeds and others like them likely got reported to Nehemiah, who asked Artaxerxes to grant him leave to return to Judea again to govern it. Such leave was granted, and so when Nehemiah returned, he put an end to Tobiah's residence at the temple. But not only that, he cleansed the room and returned it to that which it should have been kept in the first place. We don't read of Eliashib being punished for his actions, but seeing as how Nehemiah called Eliashib's acts evil, we have to imagine that further punishment would follow. Specific punishment, though, we don't know. The reforms of Nehemiah don't stop there, so we invite you back in the next lesson when we will begin discussing those. With that, our time is up for today. The Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of Nehemiah chapter 13, verses 10 to 22, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. We thank you for watching Walking Through the Bible today. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below. But if you like this video, we ask that you consider subscribing to our channel so you won't miss out on other videos in our series, as well as share this video among your friends so that the saving message of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.